Hello everyone and welcome to my more in-depth talk about Sky Strikers. Well, it's a deck I like really much. I'm gonna do a short deck profile how I played it this weekend at locals. I'm not the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh player in the whole world. I just like the deck and I performed somehow good for my experience in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know all the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think nobody does, but also I'm not the greatest player. That's all I'm saying. So let's get this started. So my deck I played in the main deck I played at the locals. Free Ray, I think this is standard. Nobody plays less than 3. So yeah, 3 Ray. Then we have 1 Rose. You could play 2. I only play 1 at the moment. I don't think I will change it anytime soon, so yeah. 1 Rose. I play 1 Hamp. Hamp is like a kaiju for Sky Strikers. You have to control a Sky Striker card to special summon it by tributing 1 monster on your side of the field or the opponent's side of the field. It depends on where you tribute the monster the Hamp goes to. So if you tribute something on the opponent's side, it goes to the opponent's side. Yeah, that's mainly the reason why you use it. I really like this card. I wouldn't cut it anyway. It saved me a whole lot of times. So I play 1 Furion King Regulus in my deck. I like the negates I can make with this. It helped me sometimes after my opponent said I go first after I won the first round. It really helped me one time, but I don't know if I will continue playing it, to be honest. I'm not so sure about this card, but it is an option. That's the thing. It is an option to play in Sky Striker, and this is what's this talk all about. So yeah. So then I play 3 Ash Blossom, also pretty standard in this format. It's a simple search negate. So yeah. Then I play 2 Engage. I think that's also self-explanatory. Yeah, it got to 2. You play 2. It searches every Sky Striker card you want to get to your hand from your deck. And if you have 3 or more spare cards in your grave, you draw 1 more. So then I play 3 Linkage. I think that's also pretty clear that you play 3 of those. You just get extreme value out of these to just OTK the opponent or do some really cool plays with it to get over some monsters and make more combos. It's a cool card. It's a good starter card. It's really what this deck needed most. So then I play 3 Video Anchor. I think that's also pretty obvious. It just negates and you can steal a monster if you want to. If you have 3 or more spells in the grave, you can steal the monster of the opponent. It's also really just a great card. I love this card. I think if this goes to like banned or even 1, I think the deck maybe isn't playable anymore. That's the funny thing. This card carries this deck also so hard. But yeah. I play 2 multi-roll. I don't think you need 3, even though it got bumped to 3, but 2 is more than enough. You don't need any more. And it also recycles your Sky Striker spells from the grave. Depends on how many you used while this card was up on the field. So I played 2 Afterburner. I don't really want to cut this, but I saw a lot of deck lists that only play 1, and instead of it they play something like Boost the Eagle. That's something I also consider, but I don't play Boost the Eagle in the main deck, but I'm thinking about it, playing it in the main deck. but I'm not too sure at the moment. But yeah. Then I play 1 Hornet drones. I think that's also pretty standard. Yeah. I think everybody plays 1 Hornet drone in their deck. I think so. Then I play 1 Shark Cannon. I also saw some people playing 2, but that's the same thing. I don't really want to play more than 1. I think 1 is more than enough for this. So yeah. Then I play 2 Pot of Desires. I like this card really much, unless I banish 1 rose, my rose. That's the thing why I consider playing 2 roses, but I'm not sure. Every time I played this card at locals, I banished my rose, and it hurt quite a bit, because you need rose in the grave to get the boost, the 10k boost, not 10k, 1k boost from the linkage, and that's the thing. If you don't have the rose in your grave, it kind of sucks. So yeah, that's the only downside of this card. I play 1 Upstart. It's just a free draw and a free spell in the grave. So yeah, this deck makes pretty good use of it. 1 Triple Tactics Talent. I really like this card. Also helped me to get through some games, because I got ashed on my engage one time at the start, and I had Triple Tactics Talent in hand, and I played it, drew 2 cards because I needed cards. I couldn't afford to get something out of my opponent's hand, but this is more than enough. You don't need any more of the Triple Tactics. 1 is enough, because you don't want to brick. I play 1 Reinforcements of the Army to get either the Rose or my Ray in hand. Also a good starter card. You get a spell into grave, so yeah. I think also everyone plays something like this. So Terraforming, you get a field spell. I played 2 of them. I play the Fear in Colosseum, and I play the Area 0. So yeah, that's also pretty standard, I guess. Yeah, the Fear in Colosseum is for Regulus, to search Regulus basically. So then I play 2 Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is a good starter card because this is a second build. You just get rid of the back row or the front row, I don't know, and go for game or something like that. It worked one time, it really worked. He had nothing else, and I just went for the straight up game after this card resolved. Then I played 1 Call by the Grave. This also helped me against Dimension Shifter. It was really cool that this card came in clutch, because he was using Dimension Shifter and I was going first, and I just played this from my hand, and it was awesome. An awesome feeling. And yeah, after that I kind of went on. So then I play 3 Evenly Matched. I think this is also a good going second card to get rid of my opponent's board. It also helped me against Sprite, it helped me against Kastira. Yeah, it's a really good card. I don't think it will see any less play in the coming format. I think this card is a great card going on. So, and then the last 3 cards are 3 Infinite Permanents. It's a simple negate. You can activate it if you have no cards on the field from hand. And it also helped me get into the game, because I negated my opponent's negate cards and I went on from there. So yeah, these are my 30 cards I play in my main deck. Now we go to the extra deck. I will not show any side deck cards, because it depends on the locals, I think, more or less. what you play in the side deck, and I wasn't so sure what I should have played last weekend, because we have a lot of players that we played all for the first time after the new ban list, and yeah, I wasn't expecting so much Sprite, to be honest. I saw a lot of Sprite decks, I don't know why, but yeah. So I will go over some side deck cards you can play, but really just look at what your opponents play in the locals and then build from there, I would say. So yeah. Of course, the token. I play 3 Kagari. I think this is also standard. You have to play 3. You have to play 3 Shizuku, I think. You have to play 2 Hayate, at least. Some play 3, I play 2. Then I play 2 Zeke. Zeke is also a great card, but I think I will cut 1 Zeke for the new card that's coming up in the new set in Battle of Legends Monsters Revenge. I would play something like her. Azalea is a really good card that's coming up, and I will definitely cut something like Zeke for this card. Yeah, you can simply just make it with 2 Sky Striker cards. Well, you have to use 2 dark or 2 light, or 1 dark, 1 light. So yeah. But yeah, I would cut Zeke for Azalea. So then we move on. I play 1 dark. Oh, sorry. I play 1 Kaina. I forgot Kaina. Yeah, as a one-off to just prevent the opponent from attacking. So I play 1 dark. I play 1 Nigirisu. I wanted to try this at least once. I think I'm not gonna play Nigirisu anymore. I will play something like Unicorn again. This is pretty more the standard thing you play for Access Code Talker. So yeah, I wanted to try this at least once. It helped me, actually none of the games. It helped me against a friend I was playing just for fun. But not really in the local tournament, so yeah. I think I will gonna stick to Unicorn again. I like this a bit more, even though Access Code Talker gets a little bit less attack, but who cares, to be honest. But yeah. So, and the last last card I play in my extra deck is Zeus. So Zeus, you can just Wither Anchor something, some XYZ monster from your opponent, attack with it, and then just play the Zeus on top, and it's your monster, and you have an amazing body on the field to control the board. But yeah, this is my extra deck. So now let's go over some side deck options, or no, let's do something else first. Let's go over some cards you can play in the main deck instead of something like I played, because like I said, you don't really need something like Upstart or something like the Furion package I play. You don't really need this. You can play it, you don't have to. I decided to play it to try it one time, but there are so many other options in the main deck, and I want to go over some of them. So, like I said, you could also play Eagle Booster. That's absolutely fine. I'm also thinking about playing it, but there are also other options than this. And you can also play, instead of Lightning Storm, if you don't have them or something, you can just play Regeki, 1 Regeki, 1 Feather Duster, whatever you like to play. or have. But yeah, You could also play something like Change of Heart or Mind Control. I like Change of Heart a bit more because Mind Control you can't attack with Mind Control. But you can take over the monster and just link it away with something, with a Skystriker monster you have. That's also an option. But overall, if you don't have much space and you don't really need this, but have one space left, I would recommend something like Change of Heart over this. But yeah. So, for the main deck, what I also saw in other lists, what I kind of wanted to experiment with is something like Toon. Because we have Toon table of contents, and you can just search another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then you search Toon monster. And there's one option that I really find cool. Like I said, I saw this on YouTube. I don't remember his name, but he was playing Toon table of contents 3 times and 1 Toon Cyber Dragon, and he played in his extra deck Fleet Dragon. It's kind of funny because you just search your Toon table of contents and then you just Cyber Dragon and link away. You fusion away with his link monster in the extra monster zone or something that is in the extra monster zone. And I find this really funny that this is possible in Skystrikers. I like to experiment with something like this. I will try it, but I'm not really on board with playing it forever. But it kind of sounds funny that I want to try it at least one time. So that's basically an option you can try in the main deck. So after that, what you also can play theoretically in the main deck is something like Forbidden Droplet. I ordered my Forbidden Droplets, but they aren't really here at the moment because they got damaged on the way to me, so I get a refund. But it kind of sucks because I had the card in my hands and it was just completely damaged through carrying. I don't know what happened, but yeah. I get my money back, so it's all fine, but yeah, I wish I had the card. Now to some other options you could play in the main deck. Which depends on also your locals mostly. Because you could play Effect Veiler in the main deck. You could also play Bell in the main deck. And you could also play Drool in the main deck. You can just 3 times all of them, or 2 times, depends on how much space you have left in the deck. But yeah, all of them are good options. It depends on what you're facing, because this mostly helps against Branded or something like Labyrinth, or yeah. Drool, everything that searches basically, yeah. Veiler is not so much of a good option, I think, right now, because of something like Vanquished Soul can dodge this, and Vanquished Soul gets better with time, I guess. They also got some support announced, I saw. Also looks pretty good. But yeah, Effect Veiler is something like, it depends on what your opponents play. But yeah, if not, you can always side something like this, which I do, to be honest. I side something like this. I don't side something like this. I would either play this in main deck, but you can play it in the side deck, I guess. But there are other options, I think, personally. So, what you can also play, but not in the side deck, but in the extra deck, is something like Phoenix, to get rid of some of the most awful cards that are out there. something like against Sky Striker specifically is something like anti-spell fragrance. You need to get rid of this somehow, because this is one of the hardest counters you can make against Sky Striker. So yeah, this is a great option to get rid of this. So this is also an option in the extra deck. I personally don't play it at the moment because I play Cosmic Cyclone in the side deck, and it has to be enough, I think. It just has to be enough. So now I'm gonna go over some side deck cards. Now it's time to get over some side deck cards. So there is some cards that are not so relevant anymore, like Herald of the Abyss. You could play it, I guess, but I don't think many people are playing purely anymore, so I think this is a dead card. But yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, what I forgot to talk about is one card you can play in the main deck would be also Triple Tactics Thrust. Triple Tactic Thrust is something I would personally play in the main deck at least 2 times. I wouldn't play it 3 times. I think that's a little bit too much. But I would play it 2 times for sure. I even would cut something like Evenly Matched, because you can just search for the Evenly Matched through Thrust. That's an option you have, and I really like this, that you can make something like this play. You just need one Evenly Matched if you have 2 Thrust in your main deck, I think. So I would cut just 2 of Evenly Matched out of the deck, and I would just give 2 Triple Tactics Talents into the deck. So yeah. Okay, but back to the side deck. What you can also play, which I was braining myself, I don't know if it's Copium, I'm not really sure, but you can play something like Royal Decree against something like I said, anti-spell fragrance. You could just do that, and it helps against some back rows, some floodgate decks that you play against. I saw a lot of trap decks running around at my locals. I even saw a Dynamorphia deck. It's kind of sick. But yeah, you could play something like this. Maybe this becomes relevant. I'm not sure, but it's something I was thinking about. So, but there are other side deck cards. Something like Ghost Ogre could be a bit relevant in a side. I'm not 100% sure about that card yet, but it could help against some matchups. So we play one Hamp in the main deck, but you can also play something like a Kaiju in the side deck. I don't play Kaijus at the moment, but I'm thinking about just adding one into the side deck, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I play 3 Cyclones in my side deck. I don't like the combination of some people just playing 2 of those and playing 1 of this. I get it if you don't play any Lightning Storms in the main deck, but in a Sky Striker deck I find it kind of odd why you don't play Lightning Storm in the main deck, because Lightning Storm just removes stuff and you get a free spell into the grave just for free. It helped so much. But yeah, I personally wouldn't add this. I just would play 3 of those, because if you get just anti-spell fragrance in the draw phase and you drew in this, you can activate this immediately. If this If you drew this, you can't do anything. You just can't do anything. But with this, you get just rid of this in an instant. So I played also 2 shared rights in my side deck. I think this card is great. If you play a lot of hand traps in the side deck, and your opponent, it helps in going first and going second. Both are fine for this card. That's the great thing about this. It's also a free spell in the grave for your Sky Striker cards, and you just, so many decks are searching something to hand, and you just get 3 draws every time, and you could draw into something like Infinite Permanence or in Effect Veilers or Ash Blossoms, something like that, and just get rid of some stuff your opponent has, and hopefully you don't die because he has an amazing board on turn 2 and just wants to finish you because he was saying you go first, and yeah. So this card can help in some situations, but the thing is, I never drew this. Every time I sided it in, I never drew this. It hurt so much. I wanted to see this card because if I would have drawn an Ash Blossom or an Infinite Permanence, I could have done so many things with it, but it didn't came up, sadly. So then you also have the option of playing Dimension Barrier. Dimension Barrier is still a great card. You can do stuff against Sword Soul, you can do stuff against Sprite, you can do stuff against Kashtira, you can do stuff against Branded. It helps against every one of these highly competitive decks at the moment. I think this is still a great card. I'm not sure about going on with this card because like I said, Vanquished Soul is also there, but it helped at my locals at least. I see a lot of players not playing this card anymore in side decks, and I don't really understand why, because some people still say it's a cash format, and I also think it's more or less a cash format, but it's also a rogue format. It's both of these things, so yeah. Maybe that's the reason why some people are starting to cut this card, but I wouldn't cut it at the moment, I guess. But yeah, we will see. So, what I also saw is there can only be one. There can only be one is also a great card you can play in Sky Striker. It really helps a lot. You can only control one monster of each type on your board, so you can't control like 2 warriors. You have to get rid of 1 warrior. So it helps against something like Sprite, against Kashtira it will also help. It's a great card, to be honest. If your opponent says you go first, it really, if you draw into this, it's really good. It depends on the matchup, but yeah. I will never side this against Vanquished Soul. It will just hurt you. So because Vanquished Soul also plays this card, because they can also play this card. But yeah. Then I play the Organism card. It's also a good card, but I think I will stick more to this than to this. But this can help against Vanquished Soul, theoretically. It can help. It can also help against Kashtira, but like I said, I played a lot of Sprite at my locals, and the card just was not good against Sprite, so you can't play this against Sprite because it has to be level 6 or higher. Yeah, that's the thing with this card. But overall, it's a good card. It can see some relevance, so yeah. What you can also still play in the side deck, but is it kind of dropped off, is something like Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse. Both have some of the same effects, but I think Book of Eclipse is still a better card at the moment. It can also help against Wanker's Soul, but I really wouldn't play these two cards anymore, at least for the time being. But yeah. So there are still some side deck cards I can talk about, but I don't really have them. Not all of them. So first off, White Howling. If you control a water monster, you can target one spell in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. If you do, for the rest of the turn, negate all spell effects on your opponent's field. So this is really a good card. I saw someone play with it in Skystriker, and it was kind of funny to see that this is possible. I didn't think about it, but you always end on Shizuku. It's really rare that you don't finish with Shizuku. There has to be something gone wrong that you don't have a Shizuku in the end board, or you just have everything in hand you need. So it doesn't matter if you go into Shizuku because of the resources or something like that. But yeah. So what also is good with Shizuku is something like Spiritual Water Art Aoi. You can tribute one water monster and rip one card of the hand of your opponent. You can rip one card, so it goes to the grave, which is also a good starter card, because you can theoretically just do White Howling in the your opponent has to play one spell, right? Let's say your opponent asked you last turn. You played something like Triple Tactics Talents, right? You ripped a card of your opponent's hand that is a spell card. So you set the White Howling for next turn and activate it in his draw phase. You get rid of the card you discarded with Tactics Talent. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm just done. It gets into the deck. I'm done. I just overthought something again. Okay, no, you can. Well, your opponent has to play one White Howling, right? No, your opponent has to play one spell. So you activate White Howling. You banish the spell. You can not play any spell cards anymore. Let's say you have this also set and activated to just get rid of one card of your opponent's hand. And let's say it's one of his only monsters because he has only spells in hand because he's playing, I don't know, something where you only have spells in hand like Runic, but Runic also has no monsters mostly. But yeah, let's say you get rid of something of his hand, so yeah. So the last side deck card I like to talk about is Made to Order Mermaid Outfitter. You can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, then you can add one card from your deck to your hand with the same name as the banished card. You can only activate one Made to Order Mermaid Outfitter per turn. So this is a great card in the mirror match. You can just banish one of their engages and search your own from the deck, and just go from there. So yeah, this is maybe a one-off side deck card. I wouldn't play it more than one time, to be honest, but it is a good option in the side. So yeah. So, like I said, there are also some cards that hurt a lot against Skystrikers, and one of the cards is Anti-Spell Fragrance, like I said, and the other card is Bestial. Bestial is such a good card against Skystriker. It really hurts in this format. I faced two guys who played Bestial against me. One of them was a Sprite player. He just played them in the side deck and got rid of my Ray, and that really hurt in that scenario because I didn't have anything to follow up. I drew nothing and I had nothing to follow up, and he just OTK'd me in just one go. It really hurt. But yeah. Against anti-spell you can, like I said, do something like Phoenix or just Cosmic Cyclone. You just have to draw it. Some guy was playing an anti-spell against me and it also hurt himself, so I don't really understand why he played it. But maybe because he thought it hurts me more. But at the end it hurt him more because that's why I won the game, because of his own card. Kinda crazy, but yeah. Okay. Like I said, there's a display set coming up, Battles of Legends, where we get some new Skystriker cards, also some hero cards. I'm pretty hyped about heroes because heroes are still my favorite archetype. But yeah, one of the cards that's in this set is something like Ciel. I'm only gonna talk about this card because this card could see some play, at least as a one-off in Skystriker. It can be really situational, but it can depend on the situation. But I think it's overall a pretty neat card. Yeah, you can discard one spell and special summon this from your hand. You can banish one spell from your graveyard, give control of this card to your opponent. And if you do special summon one Skystriker monster from your graveyard, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Skystriker spells and add it to your hand. So you can just banish something like Engage, give the opponent control of this monster. You just destroy it somehow, like because it was in defense or something like that, and then you just get your Engage back that you just banished. So that's kind of neat, but this card doesn't have Skystriker in its name, so it's a little bit but I think this is still the better card you can play from the Skystriker universe characters that's coming out in this set. But yeah, we will see. So, and the other card I want to talk about in this set is Azalea. Like I said, I would cut something like Seek for this card in the future. Yeah. It's a Link to Dark Machine Link effect monster with 2500 attack. You need 2 light and or dark monsters to summon it. You can only summon one copy of Azalea once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can target one card on the field, destroy it, and then if you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard, send this card to the graveyard. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent monster, you can banish one spell from your graveyard, destroy that opponent's monster. It can be some kind of board removal. The funny thing about this card is you don't really need to play Sky Strikers to summon it. That's the crazy thing. You can just do some other shenanigans with this card in some other decks. And you can also play Sky Striker extra deck monsters, because you can just link this away into some other Sky Striker monster if you want to. I don't know what's the benefit of this, of playing more Sky Striker cards in your extra deck with just Azalea, but yeah, it is an option. But yeah, it's kind of a good card. I like the banish effect of Seek, gotta be honest. Kind of just helps if you just need to banish something on field to go for the OTK or something like that. But this seems also like a good card for the future, and I will definitely play it again as a one-off in my deck. But yeah. So there is just one card left I want to talk about, and it is a card we already play in our main deck. That's coming out again in alternative art rare. Also in the new display comes the alternative art engage card. I'm happy to see this card, not gonna lie. I think this artwork is amazing. I like the other artwork too. Most of the people say they like this artwork more, but I think it's more because they saw the normal artwork like all the time, so it's something new. Of course you like it more. But yeah, of course I like it too. But the only thing I don't like is I'm not the biggest fan of secret rares, to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of secret rares, at least the modern day secret rares. I'm more a fan of the old secret rares we had back in the 2000s, where secret rares weren't over exaggerated, like full on glitter effects on the card, just slightly effects. But yeah, it's a beautiful card. Nothing to say about it. I'm more of the fan of ultra rare cards in these days, and my whole deck is in ultra rare. So yeah, mostly in ultra rare. If the card has an ultra rare, it's in ultra rare, except the trap cards I have. But yeah, that's also my deck profile. I hope you enjoyed my big talk about my deck, about what we can play in Sky Strikers going forward, what you have to be considering going forward in this format. We get some new cards for Sky Strikers. Other decks get also more cards. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will also do some kind of hero deck profile in the future, because heroes are just my favorite archetype. But yeah, this was my Sky Striker talk of the day. I'm sorry if I sound a bit weird. I'm doing this like just to relax somehow, because I was sick, and I'm doing this to get some feeling of doing something. And I really wanted to talk about Sky Strikers and what you can play. So I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Thank you for listening, and bye.